What's up, everyone? It's Adrian from Draft Time, and this is my Week 7 FanDuel and DraftKings picks video. Make sure you stay tuned to the end of the video because I'm going to give you my top lineups for FanDuel and DraftKings. So first off, who's my top stud for Week 7? No shock here, it's Kyler Murray. Now, a lot of people are going to be all over this Seattle-Arizona game for good reasons. I like Kyler going up against the Seattle Seahawks defense, who've given up 20-plus fantasy points in 4 out of their 5 games this season, including a 35-point fantasy game Week 2 to Cam Newton, where he rushed for 2 touchdowns, which Kyler Murray is certainly capable of. So he's my top stud for today. He's significantly cheaper than Russell Wilson on DraftKings and slightly cheaper on FanDuel. And this game has shootout potential. If you do decide to do an Arizona stack, you're probably not going to be alone in that. That being said, I like Christian Kirk as opposed to D-Hop as far as stacking, with Kirk being way less expensive. Also, DeAndre Hopkins is likely going to be pretty heavily owned. So if you were going to go the stack route, I would try to choose Kirk over D-Hop. My next top stud is going to be Kareem Hunt going up against the Bengals. Obviously, the Browns are still without Nick Chubb, so Kareem is the starter. He's going to get the lion's share of the carries. He's very well priced on FanDuel and DraftKings. He didn't play too well last week, but that was against the Steelers defense. Besides that, he's been having an awesome season. So Kareem Hunt at that price point, he's another one of my top studs. Now, next, I want to talk about my top value plays. Coming in on DraftKings at just $3,700 is Breshad Perriman. He had 8 targets last week against the Dolphins, and now this week he should have a decent workload with Jamison Crowder not expected to play. Coming in on FanDuel at just $5,000 for my top value pick on FanDuel is Jamal Williams. Now, you're not going to be alone here. He should be pretty heavily owned because he's getting the start with Aaron Jones out, and he's going up against a horrible Houston Texans defense that gives up the 3rd most fantasy points to opposing running backs. So, top value play here, you got to play him at $5,000. Now I want to get into some stack plays. Now, the whole purpose of stacking is to try to draft a team with high upside with the possibility of winning it all. That being said, if you're stacking the same game as everyone else, you're not necessarily going to be able to do that. That's why, if you're trying to stack, you might want to try to stay away from the Seattle-Arizona stack. Now, here's a somewhat of a sleeper stack play, and that's going to be Matt Stafford and Kenny Golladay. Now, not too many people are going to be on the stack because so many people are going to be on that Seattle-Arizona stack. And the Lions are going up against the Atlanta Falcons, who are the worst pass defense in the whole NFL, okay? So if you want to go with an even deeper sleeper than that, and this is only for DraftKings, this probably wouldn't work on FanDuel. You could go with Breeze Kamara, okay? Now, typically, I don't like stacking running backs and quarterbacks from the same team, but Kamara is the exception. Now, I know the Panthers have a pretty decent defense, and Breeze, he's really not that great of a fantasy quarterback these days, but I love his price on DraftKings. Drew Brees is just $6,100 on DraftKings. So, with them being that cheap, it really won't take that much for this stack to end up booming. Brees could easily hit the 300 yard bonus on DraftKings. He's done it twice already this season. And Kamara could easily hit a 100-yard receiving bonus. He's averaging 80 receiving yards per game, and he has 3 receiving touchdowns on the season. So even if Drew Brees doesn't have a big game, he won't kill you because he's only $6,100. But anyways, with all that being said, that's my top studs, picks, and value picks, and my top stacks. Let's go ahead and, like I promised you, let me give you my lineups for Week 7 for FanDuel and DraftKings using the optimizer from Draft Time, which you can access by going to drafttime.com, signing up for a free 7-day trial. If you don't like it, you can sign up anytime before the 7 days are done. So for DraftKings, you got Kyler Murray, Jamal Williams, Kareem Hunt, Alvin Kamara, Breshad Perriman, Terry McLaurin, Keenan Allen, Travis Kelce, and the Detroit Lions defense. Now let's go ahead and run it for FanDuel. And for FanDuel, you got Kyler Murray, Jamal Williams, Kareem Hunt, Alvin Kamara, T. Higgins, Robbie Anderson, Metcalf, George Kittle, and the Cowboys defense. Okay, so there you have it. Right now it's 11:08. So these lineups might change barring some injury updates. So make sure you sign up for a free trial and make sure you update it before 1 p.m. if you do use this lineup optimizer. But anyways, let me know if you have any comments about these lineups, about these picks. Make sure you subscribe to us on all of our social media platforms. Be sure to shoot this video a thumbs up, and good luck to everyone week 7.